Good evening, everyone. Welcome to sunny Barcelona. It's 7 o'clock. The weather is perfect, and we are flying to San Sebastian. And we are not alone. Bas is also flying with us in the jet airplane plane with a concurrent stream also. So at the end, you can compare how a Boeing and an Airbus systems differ on the same route. We do the first leg of the Spanish pilot skill tour of IVAO. Already tried doing that a few days ago, but ended miserably in an emergency return to Barcelona, so that's not going to happen again. We hope to make it there and enjoy the challenging approach. It's a short flight, so we should be there in 1.5 hours from cold and dark. And let's start setting up the plane. I hope those who are watching now can hear me well. And let's go. So we check the engine master switches are in the off position, the mode selector is in normal, the landing gear lever is down, the battery voltages are appropriate. Then we set the battery 1 and then battery 2 to auto. The dome light is too bright because it's daylight. Parking brake is set on, so that's confirmed, and the brake pressures are in the green. Now there is external power available, so we will put that on and then adjust our lights in the cockpit. I've already fueled the plane and I'm connected to IVAO network, but we'll still have to fill in the flight computer, so that is still to come. And these two. Alright, screens are alive, the flaps are in the up position, confirmed. Speed brake is retracted. No unnecessary lights on the top panel. We are flying an Airbus A319 from Toliss, by the way. Crossbleed is auto, annunciation lights. Test. And the lights. Everything is normal. Okay. We set the ADRs on. We always wait till the on battery sign goes off. So far there is no ATC coverage in Barcelona, so we are on Unicom. Let's hope this changes in the future. Alright, strobe lights goes on auto, navigation logo lights go to 2. Seatbelt signs are on. No smoking signs are auto and the emergency exit lights are armed. The landing elevation is at auto. The backflow is normal because we are full. And we put the 6 fuel pumps on. Alright. We have already done the fire tests. Radio panels go on. And we can tune to the 80s. And the 80s departure is 121.980. So 121.980, 21980, and then
Barcelona El Prat information Alpha 1600 Zulu weather. Wind 190 at 9 variable 150 to 230
1013.
Visibility more than 10. Sky conditions
Alright.
2500 few. Temperature 28.
Nice.
2.0.
Nice and warm.
Area QNH1013.
And not much
Arriving
clouds.
runway 20.
Oh, that's good.
Departing runway 20.
Okay. Then we can set up our flight computer. And And we confirm that it's the correct airplane, the data cycle is valid. So we go to the init page, and here for the parameters, so init A page, and our flight plan is from Barcelona to San Sebastian. So Lima Echo Bravo Lima to Lima Echo Sierra Oscar. Our alternate is to Pamplona, I think, but I will quickly check that. Is to Pamplona, is Lima Echo Papa Papa. Our flight number is today Iberia 2185. We are flying with a very cheapo cost index of 5 today. So it's going to be 280. And then we check our position, it's 41174, 41174, and our longitude is 250, 2550. Alright. Now we can align the IRS. And then we can go to the flight plan page. There we go. And this can go down, we don't need that anymore. And then we can initialize our flight plan. We will take runway 25 left for departure because in... Wait, my stream is telling me that the video is doing issues. I hope this is not the case. Let's see what's happening. Is my internet connection maybe not fine? A quick check. No, everything seems to be working, so I hope the stream is also working. Just a quick look at the stream. Yeah, telling me that everything is fine. Okay, we will continue. Alright, so we are leaving runway 25 left, and our departure is GRAUS for Quebec. GRAUS for Quebec. There is no transition, and this goes into the flight plan and insert. Then from GRAUS we are taking airways, and it's very nice in Airbus. You can just give in the airways and the in-between points are automatically inserted. So it's uniform Mike 601 and then Romeo 10, and then we confirm, then it's via Papa Papa November, and then we go to Sierra Sierra November. Sierra Sierra November. And insert. Very good. And then from Sierra Sierra November, our arrival is just going to be to runway 22. We don't do anything else because it's going to be a procedure which is not programmable to the FMCU. So it's going to be runway 24, and the star is going to be the Sierra Sierra November 1 Juliet. And no VIAs, no transitions. Insert. Alright. Now let's check if this is correct. Let's zoom in. The beginning, we leave, continuous, and then we arrive. Good, that's all good. Then let's give in the alternate flight plan, zoom in a bit more. Hey Paul, thanks for watching. We give in the alternate flight plan. From LESO, it would be then runway 22 because that's where we do the approach. And then the alternate flight plan is via Papa Papa November 1 Charlie. Papa Papa November 1 Charlie, no transition, insert. And that goes to Papa Papa November, and then from there direct to Lima Echo Papa Papa runway 15, 15, sorry. And then probably an ILS. We will quickly check that. We will quickly check that. Lima Echo Papa Papa for the alternate to Pamplona. And the approach to runway 15. Yes, an ILS Zulu. That's good. ILS Zulu, no star. And via Papa Papa November. No transition insert. And then we can have a quick look how that looks. That looks all right. Okay. Okay, this is all good. So the flight plan is inserted. We don't do secondary flight plan now. Not necessary. Go back to Arch. 10 mile is good. Frequencies are fine. We don't need that now. We will use that for the approach. And then in the init B page we can fill in zero fuel weight. I've already set the fuel calculated by SimBrief. So that we don't need to do anymore. But it's here, it's 5 tons, that's correct. The zero fuel weight is 55.3 slash, and the percentage of the position of the center of gravity is 28.6, 28.6, correct. And the block fuel is 5 tons, and then we have an estimated remaining extra time of 15 minutes, which is a bit on the low side, but should be fine. Okay, frequencies are done, and the performance page we calculate our takeoff speeds. We'll do simple one flap takeoff. We don't need toga, so it's gonna be 147 for V1, 151, 151 for rotation, and 154 for V2. And the flaps is 1 slash up 0.2, and the flex temperature is 66 degrees. This is all set up. Nice. Then we can go to our taxi chart. One more thing. For the flight plan, the GPS is already available, position is available. For the flight plan, we would like to have the winds. We can automatically set those winds in explain with Toliss, that's nice. And for the cruise wind, I'm just going to look at what SimBrief is telling us at LRT at 280 is 30 knots from 304, so it's 304/30. Oops. 304/30. 304/30 at flight level 280. But winds are set, so that's for the better calculation. There is the fuel prediction is still fine. Okay, and then the performance page. Okay. Then we are more or less ready for taxi. The burrow is set to 1013. That's the local QNH is now matching the standard. That's good. We will put the the limits on constraints on the PFD. And we'll put our initial would be 6000 feet, but since there is no ATC, I'm already putting on flight level 280. Now speaker timers are reset. Skid is on. Switching panel switches are all normal. Transponder code is now going to be 2000, and we put system on. And this is all good. Then let's start the APU. First the master. Okay. And then the flaps open, then we can go start. And then if everything is good, then here we'll see the APU starting. Yep, there is already exhaust. Good, then we will monitor the temperatures. And when the APU is available, then we will switch off the external power and on the APU bleed. Alright, we are almost there. And APU is available, external power goes off, and APU bleed goes on. Then we can do pushback. We'll have a quick look at WebEye if there is any traffic coming. No, there is no traffic coming. So we can proceed with the runway we have chosen, and we have chosen 25 left because in real life they are currently using at Barcelona 25 left. So even though there is no ATC to tell us what to do, we will conform to the real life situation. Alright, then the beacon lights go on and we call the pushback truck.
Ground to cockpit. Can acknowledge. Coming through the menu when you are ready.
Pushback and start up. And where are we? 252 facing east.
Ground to cockpit. Tau is driving up.
There's quite some traffic today. It's main terminal of Barcelona.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
And for the taxi, we'll go exit gate Kilo Sierra, then Juliet 5, Echo 2, Echo 1, and then along Kilos till Golf 1, hold Golf 1. While taxis...
Cloud connected and bypass being inserted. Release parking brake.
Parking brake is released. The gate is
Starting
going away.
pushback and you may start engines.
Alright, then to start engines, we put the engine mode selector to ignition and start, and then start engine 2, and then we monitor how the engine is spooling up. Alright, the engine is spooling up, N2 is rising, exhaust gas temperature is rising, N1 is rising. We are waiting for them to stabilize and be available, and then we'll start engine number 1, 2. Alright, engine 2 is available, then starting engine number 1. Nice, there is an Air Croatia, a Whirling, and a TUI Fly. And the TUI Fly is Bas, who is flying along with us today. Quite a lot of traffic. It's been a while since I've seen so many planes next to each other on the network. The pity there is no air traffic control. And that's gonna be Bas, who is pushing behind us.
Operation complete. Set parking brake.
Parking brake is set. Engine 1 is also
Selecting
available.
tow. Stand by.
Since engine 1 is also available, we go back to normal. And then the APU bleed can go off. Ground spoilers armed. Rudder trim is set 0. Flaps to takeoff position, that's 1. Pitch trim to takeoff setting, which is going to be minus up. Yes, it's up 0.2, so that's plus 0.2 here. 0.2 up, good. We don't need anti-ice, it's very warm and there is only low clouds. APU master can go off. And we make sure
Tow is disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal on the left. We'll see you next time and have a safe flight.
all doors are closed and checked. And then we wait for our hand signal, which was going to be, yes, on the left. Alright, there's the hand signal, thanks. Then we will just give a quick message. Caps lock. Traffic. Taxi to runway 25 left via Kilo Sierra, Echo 2, Echo 1, Kilo 4 to Kilo 1 holding point, Golf 1. Okay, and that's it. We can start rolling, so parking brake go, first taxi lights on, parking brake goes off, and we start rolling. We are rolling, so brake check, brakes are available, and also the timer started. Okay, auto brake maximum for takeoff. So we are coming at Kilo Sierra, we will go there left. Alright, takeoff. We tell the cabin to prepare for takeoff, and then takeoff config check, everything is normal, climb and nav modes are armed. And now, oh yeah, we have to go to the right, the original plan. No, here still left first. Juliet 5 and then right to Echo. And then on the Echo I will do a control check for the flight controls. Alright, so now we are at Juliet 5, first turn is Echo 2. There is no traffic. Tap the brakes a bit, don't take so steep turns, more than 10 knots. And then we turn. And if there was ATC, they would ask us first to hold here at Echo before crossing an active runway. But there is no ATC and there is no traffic. So we will not wait here and not hold. Good. We're gonna test the flight controls. So first, ailerons full left, ailerons full right, neutral, elevators up, elevators down, neutral, and then we disconnect the front wheel steering from the rudder, rudder full right, rudder full left, good. And I pressed the wrong button for disconnect, so it was not disconnected, but it is checked. That's most important. Our passengers got a bit rocking left to right, but that is fine. And now we go left to Kilo. There's Kilo 5. Nice and easy. And there's the Tower of Barcelona and the port, the industrial port of Barcelona in the distance. And we are nicely rolling on the center line. Ah, there are Bass and somebody else's behind, nice. We are on Unicorn, right, correct, good. No red flags. Transponder can already go to exponder. We will set Terran on, not really necessary, we will start above the ocean. But we'll do it. Auto brakes are already max, everything is set, no alarms on here, everything's green. Alright, so the taxi checklist and before takeoff is more or less complete. So we will hold short of runway 25 left at holding point Golf 1. So that's the last point. Not that we need that much of the runway, but we have time, we have fuel, and we can enjoy the scenery. So you can see, oops, Golf 1 and Kilo 1 is to the left here. We are taking it a bit sporty, because we are already taxiing at 20 knots. Alright, let's slow a bit down for this last turn. Okay. Alright, parking brakes set. Parking brakes set, good. And then we check our brake temperatures, everything is 40 degrees, that's well below the 150. We check the approach path, it's clear of traffic. It is clear, we'll send a message. That's Lima Echo Bravo Lima, traffic. Line up and take off runway 25 left. Our departure is GRAUS 4Q. Climb flight level 280. We'll have a quick look at WebEye if there is really no traffic. There is no incoming traffic, so that can go. Okay, the approach path is still clear, message is sent. We'll go to the departure chart. We are flying this departure, first initial climb to 500, then turn to the left, intercept the 208 radial, and then after Toliss we'll make the turn. Okay, then we don't need bugs. Runway strobe lights on, runway turn off lights on, landing lights on, and nose wheel lights to take off. Weather radar we don't need, and the transponder is fully on. And let's roll onto the runway. We'll notify the cabin once more that we are about to take off, so everybody can make sure they are seated. Nicely aligned with the center line, 25 left. Alright. Step on the brakes. See a last bye-bye to pass A. And then let's take off. Chrono started. 50%, wait for it to stabilize. Engines are stable. One flex SRS runway. Auto throttle armed. Keep the center line. $80 knots release brake pressure. 100 knots. 120. 140. V1, rotate. Slowly, nicely rotate. Positive climb. Gear up. And after 500 we start our turn to the left. Still hand flying, it's very easy. Just following the flight director. Now I will engage autopilot. Autopilot engaged. We can clean up our lights. And we move the throttle back to the climb indent here. Nice. The spoilers disarm. And then when we go above safe speed, then I will also clean up the flaps. Alright. And we are crossing safe speed, so let's clean up the flaps. Flaps up. And the initial speed is at maximum 230. Right, we are already tracking the radial to Toliss. No issues so far anywhere, everything is nominal. The transition altitude is at 6,000 feet, so when we cross 6,000 we will go to standard pressure. Now the QNH was also 1013, so there is not going to be a difference. Alright, we'll wait till 6,000. crossing 6000, Barrow is going to standard, both sides also on the backup. And then it's time to have a look outside. There is the airport of Barcelona. Very nice. Next action item is at 10,000. I'm in flight level 100. We will then turn off the seatbelt signs and let people walk around the cabin, probably attack the toilets like everybody does on such a flight. And today there is no food service, it's a very short flight. And then afterwards I will start briefing the approach. You can also zoom out a bit, there is no more fast coming action coming. Alright, 10,000 feet is crossed, seatbelt signs are off and the landing lights also off and retracted. Alright. Then we are done with our preparation until cruise, and in cruise we are only monitoring the system. That's very easy in an Airbus. Also I have very rare failures set up. My failure rate is set to match the real life failure rate, so we are basically not expecting failures, but should anything pop up we will have a look. I hope the volumes are fine, and even during climb the engine noise is not too high. Maybe I will set that a bit lower just to be sure. Alright, so you can hear me while I brief how the approach is going to go, and then maybe later on I will set it louder again. So for the approach we will need our flight plan, because I will manually insert a few things, but I will first say what we are going to do and how we are going to fly it. So we assume this is gonna go well, and we will go to GRAUS. Also here everything looks fine. The top of climb is going to be somewhere before Lima Romeo Delta, where we have to be above flight level 140, but we are expecting to be there above already at already flight level 280, so those constraints are met. We can close these maps. Pamplona I am still leaving here, but instead of Barcelona we are going to open San Sebastian. It's Lima Echo Sierra Oscar, San Sebastian. The approach chart, I mean the arrival chart, is not even worth looking at, because it's a simple transition from one waypoint to the other. The only interesting thing is that the minimum altitude is at 5,000 feet. Also our transition is set by ATC. There's not likely to be ATC on the route, so we will just assume it's above this, since already here it's given in altitude, so then it must be below the transition level. Have a quick look at WebEye. There is no air traffic control and there are two planes flying to San Sebastian, me and Bas behind us. I'm curious how his speed is, because it's possible that he is going to overtake us, because I'm flying at a very fuel efficient setting of cost index 5, so our cruise speed is not going to be exceptional. We will see. Alright, that traffic doesn't concern us anymore. Okay, so instead of looking at the arrival, we will look at the approach chart, and today we are doing the NDB B approach. So that means that we are using so this is a non-precision approach. We are using a non-directional beacon to navigate, to set our positions. And what will we do? So we want to arrive at 5,000 feet to the NDB, which is the Hotel India Golf NDB of San Sebastian with a frequency of 328. And then here, when we fly above the NDB, then we have to fly an outward radial. It's not like, you can think of it as a VOR, which has again radials in all the 360 directions on the windrows. But here these radials are not encoded to the navigational aid. So it's not like you can pick a radial, tune into that radial and follow that radial automatically, because there are no actual radials. The only thing your instruments can tell you about this NDB is the direction of it. So you can maintain heading or a track that brings you along a given position, but you have to do that, let's say, manually. It's not like with a VOR that you could track a radial, but it's gonna be actually quite easy with the Airbus, because the Airbus can fly in track mode, where you don't have to manually calculate wind angles and wind corrections, so you can do it more or less automatically. It's still not automatic, but you will see it's quite easy. Now here we will fly, let's say, at 185 knots. So there is different directions you have to follow with different speeds. The faster you fly, the more left track you will take, because then the more time you need to turn right, and here for the inbound direction the 208 is fixed. So that's why there are different directions given on the approach chart. So if we say that we are going to fly with 185 knots, then we can take 14 degrees for the outbound course. We need to follow that course till we are 11 nautical miles from this DME. The DME is at the same position as the NDB, but it's a distance measuring equipment, so we can tune to that frequency and then we will get the distance from that frequency. So we use the NDB for the directions, and then we use the DME for the distance. So we use these two frequencies during the whole approach. Then when we are at 11 nautical miles from that in this course, then we make a normal turn to the right, and then we will fly inwards along the 208 track. Very easy, very nice. While we do this, we also have to change our altitude, and we start descending from 5,000 to 3,600 along the outward, and in the inward we are going to be descending from 3,600 to basically field elevation. The only constraint here that we have to meet is that when we are at 2,350 feet altitude, so 2,335 feet above the field itself, because we are a category C airplane, then we need to have visual of the airfield. We are only allowed to descend below this 2,350 feet when we have visual, when we actually see the runway. And then when that happens, then you can deviate from this inward track, because you can see that the DMA is actually, this inward track is not leading you to the airfield itself. Then you have to deviate, line up with the center line, and then land. So the further you have visual, the further you are allowed to deviate from this track, and then the easier it is to line up. The latest time when you are still allowed to make the approach is when you are at this 2,350 feet altitude and 2 nautical miles from the DME. If you are beyond that without visual, you have to go around and follow the Guaran track. Today the weather is very good in San Sebastian, so we will definitely be able to land. It is not going to be an issue. So that's how the approach is going to be. We are now 80, around 100 miles from the top of descent. We'll have a look. Progress. Performance top of descent is 91 miles. So when we are at 60, we'll have to start preparing things. But so far, so good. I'm going to have a look how Bas is doing behind us. Seems to be keeping the same distance. Let's see what's the expected arrival time. Is exactly the same for us. So this is going to get busy. Maybe I can ask him, if necessary, to make a holding above Hotel India Golf. Yeah, if necessary. I will discuss with him if he wants to do that. Hotel India Golf. Okay. Alright. What we can already do is set up our frequencies, but first I'm gonna have a look from outside, or to outside first. There's not much, a bit cloudy here. It's a pity. The Pyrenees are in the distance, not much of it is visible due to the haze. And I think at the end of that is somewhere the airport of SpainUHD. It's a very nice mountain airport. I'm suddenly not very sure if it's really here, but I think it should be somewhere there. Alright, let's set up our frequencies for the approach maybe. Already entered destination data. Okay, so we'll first set up the descent. And for that, we have to go to performance, next approach, and then we can use the Toliss interactive simulation control system to get the data necessary for that. So at San Sebastian, it's also 1013, the QNH. It's very convenient, 1013. Temperature is 28 degrees, dew point is 0, so it's very dry. The wind is 200, from 200 with 8-9 knots. So that's very good for a runway 22 landing. And the decision altitude here was what I said, the 2350. 2350. Alright, and their approach speed is going to be 134, and landing speed is 129. We are very light, and it's a short runway. Okay. So that's set. We also want to give in the decent winds. So we just pick a waypoint after the top of descent, and we go to wind data. And we have to do this manually this time because it's not available automatically. But then we just do descent wind at yeah, just at the top of descent. Oh no, just for the descent. So we take all values that are below us. We could start also above, but it's quite close to what was our initial cruise wind, so we can just start from below. So it's 259/07. And that's at flight level 200. Okay, next one is 313/1. That's a very non-existing wind basically. And that's at flight level 150. And the last one we'll enter is 5/3/flight level 100. So the winds are also set up. Good. Back to flight, back to performance. Also, here in the progress page, I will set as a reference the threshold to our runway. This can come handy when we want to know exactly how far we are from the end should our other equipment fail and only the GPS would be available. So it's Lima Echo Sierra Oscar 22. That's runway 22. And then we see that we are now, as the crow flies, 133 miles away from it. Okay, go back to performance. There is still 50 nautical miles till the top of descent. Okay, let's open back our approach chart and set up the frequencies. And one more thing we already are going to set is a medium auto brake because it's a very short runway. Everything else is okay. And we will not need anti-ice. So everything decent preparation is completed except for the frequencies. So let's have a look at the frequencies while a beautiful dry Spanish landscape is under us. Gonna have a quick look outside the window. Very nice. Very, very nice. Alright, and let's set up those frequencies. Something is loading in. That happens sometimes, and then the frame rates go a bit down. But now it's all back good again. Let's zoom in a bit to the plan. We are still 40 miles from the top of descent. Destination data is already entered, so they shouldn't complain. And then weather is again loading in. That's why things are so slow sometimes. Again, don't know why it's happening. Anyway, radio frequencies. We'll need first of all an NDB, which is basically an ADF frequency. So it's at 328. We'll put that in. It's called Hotel India Golf, Hotel India Golf 328, correct, that's good. And then we'll use 113.2, which we'll put in, if I'm correct to the ILS frequency, it's not going to be an ILS, but we'll just use the distance from that, but it's not a VOR. So let's see, it's also Hotel India Golf. Let's see if that works like that. Hotel India Golf, not in the database. What if we do it here? Okay, with the VOR it goes. Oh yeah, but I wanted that to do, so let's clear this if that's possible. Okay, and here put it to the 2, so that's Hotel India Golf again, Hotel India Golf, and to VR2. Okay. And then VOR2 and ADF1, so ADF1 is 328, VOR is 113.2. But I still want to put that to the ILS because like this I might not get a distance. I'm not sure anymore because I had to use this technique at one, but I think here it's going to work because I remember that in ILCO I had to use that technique to do it. I hope it's going to be correct like this. Alright, Bas has just confirmed that he will slow down a bit behind to not catch up. It's very good. Alright, I think our frequency preparation is good. So it's here ADF and the VOR. It's not really a VOR, but I hope it's going to work with the distance. Now it says 8 to 1. It cannot be correct, I think, but it's the DMF1. Left and right. ADF VOR off. Okay. Okay, what I will still do is I will manually draw these radial points to the BFD. we will check 203, yeah. Okay, and our initial descent is going to be 5,000 feet. I will wait for the initial descent and then I will set up the frequencies. And not the frequencies, but the manual help points. We'll already prepare the message to Lima Echo Sierra Oscar, traffic, top of descent inbound Surgo, expecting what our approach is, expecting SSN 1 Juliet, SSN 1 Juliet, arrival and DB approach runway 22. Alright. And top of descent is commencing in 9 miles. So we are almost ready to start. Okay. The Pyrenees are really nice to the right. Oh, that's very pretty. Nice. Alright, top of descent almost there, we can already start. Then to 5,000 feet and initiate descent. We are in descent mode. And then we send our message. Okay, message sent. Okay, then what we'll do here, we go to plan mode, zoom in, and do some trickery magic in the flight plan. So what we want is, we want to first of all, after SSN we go to Hotel India Golf. That's still correct, but then this CF point is not correct anymore, so we'll clear that in any case. Good, cleared. And then we want to put in some extra points. We are on the descent, we don't need speed brakes, that's good. Okay, so the first point, as I said, we'll fly 185 knots in the outbound, so that's gonna be at a 14 degree direction from Hotel India Golf. So we will insert a waypoint in the place bearing distance style. So the place is Hotel India Golf, the bearing is 14 and the distance is 11. And then if I click here, that waypoint is nicely inserted. If I zoom out, I can see it, and that's the 10 nautical mile circle, so that's just a bit beyond indeed. I have a feeling that that is not correct, because there should be now 14 nautical miles. Let me just erase temporary, and then it needs to be place bearing distance. So the place is Hotel India Golf, the bearing is 14, and the distance was 11. And let's put it here. And 11, yeah, that's correct because it's going to be 11 from here. That's good. Okay. Then the next one is going to be at 208, so minus 180. That's 28. So we again do Hotel India Golf. The bearing is now 028, so that's 208 minus 180. The distance is again 11. And then we have our second waypoint there. Speeds are not correct, so whatever he is trying to calculate in the FMC manually is not correct. And then we do again Hotel India Golf. Bearing is 28 degrees. And the distance is 2, so that's the last point where we must have visual of the runway. Again, don't bother with what he is drawing, that's not correct. Let's clear this, and then that's what we want to have at the end. Okay, we will insert this, and then of course what he is calculating here is way too fast, not fine. So what we'll do is that we want here a speed constraint of 185 and altitude is 5000. Okay, that's not a problem. And now everything is more or less correct. Good, even calculated nice in the turn. Very good. Okay. And here it's max 210, that's good. Okay. But we cannot use this to fly the route. We have to fly it. Because now if we would use the flight computer to fly the route, we'd use GPS based navigation. We need to use the radios. So that's gonna be another story. But we will talk about that when we are there. So this can go back to progress of the descent. We are below the computed, that's okay. We are descending to 5000. And we go back to arc mode for now. And zoom out a bit. Okay. So when we are here, we'll switch to track flight path angle mode, and then we can give directly the 14 degrees to fly, and then we don't even need to actually look at the NDB. We'll still keep an eye that that's to the right direction from us. And then when we make the inward turn, then we will really make sure that the NDB is to the 208 degree and our track is also pointing to the 208 degree. The last thing what we want to calculate is what kind of flight path angle we need to fly from this point to descend to the altitude of the airport. Now I assume that we will arrive here to this point. The speed actually doesn't matter. What matters is that this point is 13 miles from this F8, and from there the runway is more or less 2. So we can say that we are like 14-ish miles, because this is a triangle, so we are 14-ish miles from the touchdown, and we have to calculate if we have to, in 14 miles, lose 3,600 feet, then what flight path angle do we need to do? So I just take my calculator, like anybody would do, and I will calculate. So, calculator, we need to lose 3,600 feet. Actually 3,500, no, 3,600 feet, because the airport elevation is basically sea level. There is just a bit above sea level, 15 feet, so it's sea level. 3,600 divided by, so it would be 11. Oh no, this is 11 plus 2, so it's 13 miles. So divided by 13 is 277 feet per mile. And then this 277 feet per mile is basically 2.6 feet is a 2.6 degree flight path angle. So it's 2.6 degree flight path angle. And we, with this Airbus, can fly flat path angles, and that's very nice, because no matter how the speed change, the Airbus will stick to flying that flight path down. Let's just check if our calculation was correct. Again, we need to descend from 3600 to sea level, and we need to do that descending in 13 nautical miles, because we are here 11 from this, and there is another 2, so let's say 12 and a half. I would rather say 12 and a half, and 3600 divided by 12 and a half is 288 feet per mile, and 288 feet per mile is exactly 2.7 degrees, so we'll do 2.7 degree flight path angle. Good. So that's all clear. That is well debriefed. I'm going to keep these larger panels open because it's easier to see what's happening, like that. Maybe also the speed. Alright, we are soon arriving to 10,000. Our distance from the runway is now 40 miles, but we'll first fly beyond. And the scenery is really nice. We are getting close to Basque country. Alright, so we have to be here at 5,000, then descend to 3,600, stay at 3,600 in the turn, and then fly inwards to 08. Outwards we fly 014, sorry, 014, that means that the direction of the NDB behind us needs to be at 194 degrees, so 014 plus 180, and then we fly inwards at the 208 track, and that means that the NDB needs to be at 208. And we do follow that track, descending with a 2.7 degree flight path angle until we have visual of the runway. Then we line up with the center line and do a normal landing with medium brakes. We will fly in the managed mode for the speed. No, we will fly in. Let's see how the speed here is on 90. I wanted 185, so we'll do manual sets for the speed until the turn, and from there we'll go to managed with activating the approach mode 2. Alright, in the meantime, Bas is going to hold at 5,000 feet above the NDB. That's, 6,000 feet above the NDB. That's very good, because we are planning to cross there at 5,000, so then he's 1,000 feet above us. That's sufficient. Let's have a quick look outside, now that we still have time. I think that's just Pamplona here below us. Very nice. Really, really nice scenery. And that was Pamplona, so if we couldn't land for some reason, we would actually make an approach here to the airport of Pamplona. And to the right is Baskeland. Really nice. The weather is perfectly clear, there is barely any wind. Now there is only one person who can screw this approach up, and that's your captain. Alright. Soon crossing 10,000 feet, we are already down to 250 knots, so the speed restrictions are met. There is nothing wrong with that? Oh, it's really, really nice here. Oh my. Look at those mountains.
Traffic.
Oops.
Traffic. 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 Traffic.
Huh.
Traffic.
This bus already in front of us.
Traffic. 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 Traffic.
Oh yeah, he's there.
Traffic. 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 Traffic.
Okay, so this is normal. Bus will hold at 6,000.
Traffic. Traffic.
And we are really, really close.
Traffic.
I mean, in non-simulator situation, this would not really be okay.
Traffic.
I'm going to pull back on the speed because this is a bit uncomfortable.
Traffic. 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 Traffic.
It's also very non-normal that he's going to hold for us.
Traffic. 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 Traffic.
Maybe I will have to hold instead of him because now it would be a bit stupid to ask him to hold. Then we have to quickly have a look if it's possible to set up a hold at hold and an inbound of 019 computed. Yep, that's correct. Can I see it? But not at SSN. And on the other side, turn left. Okay, that looks correct. Okay, that's correct. Okay, I'm going to hold. Okay, I will hold, but then I will hold at 6,000 and then descend. So let's do this. Sorry, no. 6,000. Okay, we are in manual, but that's okay. Now I hope he is going to descend. Okay, for safety I'm going to stay at 7,000. And I'm going to descend in the hold if that's safe to do. Because he was planning... okay, I can go, he says. Okay, and then I will go. Okay, I will go. But then no hold. Oh, but then I'm going to make it to 5,000, I hope. Go back to managed speed. We are already at idle. We will probably make it. Okay. Okay, so he will hold above us. The airport, by the way, is down there. So we'll fly out, back and land in this direction. But now I need to clear the hold. No hold, insert temporary hold is removed. Good. Okay, speed is still how we wanted. We have a distance to the war, so that's very good. That's what we wanted. I will put these up so they are more visible. So first is when we are over Hotel India Golf, then we will fly out to a track of 014. When we are above Hotel India Golf, we are going to go to nav mode. Alright, it's gonna be nice. Oh, it's really nice of Baz that he's holding for us. Or he just wants to have a first row view of how we make this approach. It's also always possible. Oh, the excitement. Excitement is growing. So we are just over Sierra November. We are reaching our 50 and it should be not flight level but altitude. So we go back to 1013. That's our local QNH today. So that's set. Okay, our speed is slowly dropping because we were going to fly out at 185 knots. So I'm already going to do that manually. It's a bit slow, but we'll do that like that. 185 knots. Let's do flaps 1. Flaps 1. Seatbelt signs on, and let's tell them that we are going to soon land. Ooh, somebody is trying a right turn hold when it should be a left turn hold, but these things happen. Okay, and then we are going to go to flight path. We are going to pull, and we are going to go to 14. That's what we said, right? 14 max 185 knots. We are going to track 14. We're just passing the NDB, and then the direction of the NDB should be 194, 180, 190, 194. Perfect. You can also descend to 3600, 3600 with flight path angle of 2.7 is gonna be fine. And let's go. Flight path angle 2.7 active. Let's do 3. There is nothing wrong with 3. Going down to 3. Our track is 14. Good speed check 185. We are going to activate the approach. Approach phase is already active. Oh, okay. Approach phase is active. Now what we need is when we are 11 miles from the VOR, sorry, the DME, then we'll make our turn to the right. By then we need to be at 3600. That is going to be met because we are almost there already. Our auto brake is set. We'll already arm the ground spoilers. Okay. Checklist. We are set. Non-ILS approach set. Okay. And disregard this calculated turn. We are not flying that. Now we are not using the plane in the mode which would follow these calculated routes. We are flying in track and flight path angle. We are down to 3600. Now, good. And we are going to make the turn when we are 11 miles from the DME. So this is, oops, sorry, here, this number, which is now at 8. And at 11, we are going to make the turn. We are going to turn that our NDB, Hotel India Golf, needs to be at 208 degrees after the turn. So we need to fly inbound 208 degrees. Okay, 2 more miles. And then when we cross the 11 miles, then we want to start a descent with a flight path angle of 2.7 to basically 0, but at 2350 we are going to disengage the autopilot. So we are almost ready to make the turn, and the turn is going to be to 208. And we can make the turn. initially a bit less than 208, and then we'll make sure that when we roll out from the complete turn, then we are heading to the direction of NDB, and the track direction is also going to be 208. So the NDB direction and the track direction overlap, which means that we are flying along the prescribed, well, not really radial because it's not a VOR, but we'll talk about it as radial, the direction. Okay. So you see now the NDB is pointed to like 203. We want that at 208. 200 now, it's at 200. We want that at 208. So a bit beyond than now it is. You can already start going a bit. Now it's at 203-ish. Now it's 214. You can see when the green reaches the white there, then it's 205. Okay, it's gonna be good. We can go to 208. Now it's at 206. And we want that to be lining up exactly with the blue. And it's gonna be nicely lining up with the blue. At 11 we will have to start our descent. So I will put this to 2300, which is just below 2350. So I will put it at 204. And we'll want to descend with a flight path angle of 2.7. 2.7. When we are at 11, we're already at 11, so oops, damn it. And let's do 3, and we are going down. Okay, 3, and we are at 10 already. So after a bit of 3, but I'm already visual with the runway, so we can already, in theory, line up. Last checks, I will activate managed mode. I will put up flaps. Okay. Spoilers armed. Landing lights on. Landing lights not yet on, should have been. Landing lights on. Geared. Not yet down. But we can already fly. Leave the track because we see the runway. Okay, not too much, like this. Okay.
2,500.
Let's put gear down. Runway turn off lights on. Then nose wheel lights take off. Last call to the cabin. Ooh, and we have, oh damn it. Autopilot pilot is engaged, and let's try going back to a flight path angle of minus 3-ish. Flight direction was off. Okay. I'm going to leave this in here so it's visible for everybody.
2,000.
And now flaps out. And where are we? Are we low? We are a bit low, so I will pull up a bit and then turn, make the turn. We are just on the flight path, 2 white, 2 red. Good. Flaps full. We're a bit low. Ay. I'm not very good with not overshooting the runway in these Airbuses. We are low. Okay. Not too much because we don't want to overshoot the other direction. Okay, are still low. Okay, 1 white, 2 red. Sorry, 1 white, 3 red. Okay, I will put the voice back a bit. Okay. More or less stable, a bit low. Auto brake set, spoilers armed. Brakes are available. Two white, two red. Good.
$500. 400. 300. 200. 100. 50. 40. 30. 20. Retard. 10. 5.
Oh, very nice landing. Reverse. Keep the center line. Reverse idle. I have the brakes, we are rolling. Now you'll have to backtrack. Brake. Okay, now we have to say backtrack. Bas needs to know we are backtracking. Okay, we'll try to vacate before he's here. Ooh, that's not gonna work, not gonna work. Clean up the flaps. Where is he? Oh, he's there. Okay, we are still maybe gonna make it. Ooh, it's gonna be close. LESO traffic runway vacated if we make it. Ooh, this is gonna be close. And we cannot take the first exit because it's not for big planes. We have to take... Ooh, that's gonna be close, that's gonna be close, that's gonna be close. Sorry, Bas. Okay, vacating runway. Not too fast, because I don't want anybody to throw up, but still firmly. Okay, we'll already say vacated because whew, that was close. We'll go further also, so Bas can also find some spot. Okay, by the way, after landing lights should have been already retracted. Now we are going to stop here. I don't know exactly how this stop is, but we are going to stop here. Yeah, that's not where I should be stopping. I will correct that. But first wait for Bas to land. Landing lights, oops, retracted, runway turn off lights, taxi lights cleaned up, strobe lights auto, transponder to exponder, APU master on. Oh, there is Bas landing. Nice. It did definitely float less than I did. Nice, very nice. Let's find a better position to park ourselves. And we are going to do it like this. We are going to make a turn and park to this position. It's gonna go back to plan. It's not really doesn't really matter anymore. Okay, and now make the turn. Okay. Nice, parking brake on. Alright, parking brake on. Okay, we don't need this now anymore. I'm just going to tell him that we have finished taxiing. And hopefully that tells Bas that he's free to go wherever he wants to go. And we can start our APU. And our brake temperatures, by the way, we will already put on the brake fans. And why is Bas waiting there? Good question. Okay. And when the APU is available, then we can turn our engines off. Almost there. Alright, APU available. Then we can turn the engines off. Engine 1 off. Okay, engine 2 off. And indeed, the brakes are very hot. I had to use them quite a lot. It's a very short runway and we landed a bit beyond the optimal touchdown spot. Alright, lights go off. Also the beacon lights because the engines have spooled down. Beacon lights off. Nav lights can still stay on. Elapsed time counter. We also should have stopped the chrono. It was less than 1 hour flight time and less than 1 hour 10 block to block. And the fuel pumps can go off. Fuel pumps are off. Transponder can go to standby. And bus is also parked. Very nice. And the display units can be turned off and so and so and so. We are going to wait here a bit because I need to wait 6 minutes to be able to send this stage in for the Spanish pilot skill tour. And this was indeed stage 1 of the, or leg 1 of the Spanish pilot skill tour. And then when that time has gone, I'm also going to just start this chrono here again to time that. And at like 4 minutes we will be okay because we have already been on the ground for a while. At 4 minutes we are gonna be fine, and then we can watch the replay of the landing after we have disconnected from the network. So a bit of waiting. I'm going to probably fly the next stage of the tour next week at one point, or maybe still in the weekend. We'll see. These 2 weeks I have holidays, and because of COVID and everything, we are spending these holidays at home. So I have quite some time. But I'm going to check what's the next stage while we are waiting. So it's the Pilot Skills Tours 2020 of IVAO. And the next stage is going to be from San Sebastian to Vigo. And in Vigo we have to fly a VOR approach. So it's a bit easier than what we did today. because viewers are a bit better than NDBs. So that's gonna be easier. I'm going to turn off this, don't need it anymore. And normally already I would shut down the aircraft, but since in the replay I might want to see the displays, I'm not going to do that fully. Let's have a look outside. So there's the APU exhaust you can see there. There's bus. And here is the airport. Very nice scenic airport in the bay, and that's already France. So actually the border is here in the water, and this side is Spain, this side of the beach is Spain, but that beach is already France. And that's Baskeland. And a view back towards the Pyrenees. Alright, still have to wait 2 minutes before I can disconnect. And I'm very sorry, but we need to wait for that before the replays can be played. For those who are watching this not live but later, you can just skip the next 2 minutes in the video. For those who are live, thank you for being here and watching it. I hope it was useful. As I always say, it's not an instructional video for real flying, of course. I'm not a real pilot in an Airbus A319. I'm just a student pilot for PPL. So this is just for fun, just for the simulator. Not that I would think anybody would want to use it on a real Airbus. There is better sources and better training material for that. But maybe this is something to say. All the procedures were not 100% correct. Bas has just disconnected. We still are going to wait a tiny bit of time. He probably did that also to make sure he can play the replay. We are almost there. We are almost there. We are going to have a quick look at the map to see how we came. Indeed, we came in, we did the outward, then we did the inward, then we had visual of the runway, we deviated, and then we landed in along the runway center line. Very, very nice. That's, I think, was a very good approach, except for a bit of overshooting the runway axis when turning there and forgetting that I had set the altitude limit to 2400, so for a second we leveled off there while we wanted to do a continuous approach, but beyond those small errors everything went as they should have gone. So now we will disconnect from the network and then we will have a quick look at the replay. Only disconnect. Alright, we are disconnected, so we can have a look at the deep replay. Replay. Alright, that's a good distance. Maybe a bit further. Alright, this is a good point. There's a bit of float, but then very smooth landing. Not really on the center line, there was a bit of wind from the right, but not really bad. Alright, let's see one more. A bit further. This time a full passenger view, maybe. I will just get a bit closer. Very scenic approach though. Alright, let's have a look to the right. Nice bay. Crossing the beach. So this is the French side, and on the other side it's the Spanish side. Very low above the houses. And then flare. Tiny bit of float. It was a bit steep, but then the landing is very smooth. Right, let's do one more. Hi, Chris. Yeah, just a tiny bit of float, really centimeters above the ground. Alright. That was it. We are in San Sebastian. Thank you for joining. Thank you for watching along, also for those who only were here for a few minutes. I hope if you watch it afterwards and compare it with the stream of bus, then you can see how the difference is between an Airbus and a Boeing is. And with these words, I will still fully shut down the plane now that we are done with replays and everything. So we set the AD rules off. We have not done that yet. The APU bleed is off. The APU master goes off. Lights go off. And the batteries are already off. And with that, the airplane is ready for its stay in San Sebastian till the next etap. Thank you for joining, and see you the next time. Fly safe!